What's up, everybody? Welcome back once again to another episode of Axel's Analysis. As always, I'm your NXT nerd and your Indian former Axel Mulligan. It's a bit of a bonus episode, this one, and you can lay the thanks or blame with the WWE, basically. The network was due to be released last night in the UK at 8 p.m. or GMT, and it didn't happen. 20 minutes to 8. The WWE network sends out a tweet which read something along the lines of, the UK launch has been delayed until further notice. No explanation as to why, it was just that. And everybody was spitting shit, everybody was incensed, even some of my American friends. Just the way that, we've been treated with this network has just been appalling. Obviously, they've given us 2 dates now. Originally, the 1st of October didn't happen. We let it go. Whatever. 3rd of November, 8 p.m. GMT. 20 to 8, we find out. Not good enough, WWE. Sorry, not good enough at all. And what pisses me off is that they would have known way before 20 to 8 that it wasn't going to happen. And another thing that pissed me off even further again was there's been no explanation for it so far. There's been a lot of speculation saying that it's down to Sky. A lot of speculation saying that it's down to the WWE. It's just frustrating. I've made my mind up now. I won't be buying it. Full stop. Because I'm fed up of being sort of having my hopes built up with it to be let down. Somebody wants to buy it for me, fine. I shan't be paying my hard-earned money as much. It'll only be about £6.50, £7 a month. I'd rather spend that on companies like Ring of Honor and, as I'm going to get onto it now, Insane Championship Wrestling. What Insane Championship Wrestling did was release their on-demand service yesterday morning, and yesterday evening, 9 p.m. GMT, released the show which was recorded the night before. Fear and Loathing VII, live from the Barrowland Ballrooms in Glasgow. And they put that up at 9 p.m. last night, as promised. It was on there, watched it, loved it. They have a much cheaper rate than the WWE, $5.99 a month. As I said, as I've said on multiple occasions, I spend money with Ring of Honor, $7.99 a month. And those two companies can make it happen. WWE can't seem to for whatever reason. And, I'm not overly upset that they didn't do it. The thing that pissed me off the most, as I say, was there was no explanation behind it. And there was, the time that it was done. The timing was completely wrong. 20 minutes before the launch. Not good enough. So basically last night my plan was to sign up to the network. Well, I'm already signed up to it. Just obviously need to sort out the payment details, which won't be happening now. Basically, I was going to be watching Survivor Series 1991. Always loved it. One of my favourite pay-per-views of all time. I put it in my top 10. Obviously, it didn't happen. And I saw a few tweets floating around on Twitter, people saying about the ICW on-demand service being released. So I thought $5.99, which is about £3.70. Well, obviously, it's good money to spend. It's cheap. So I went and bought it. I was chatting to somebody last night on Twitter, a girl called Jo Taylor lives up in Glasgow, who recommended that I watched the event from the Barrowland Ballrooms the night before, Fear and Loathing VII. She was at the event. She said it was really good. So I thought, fuck it, why not? Watched it, loved it. Thought it was one of the best shows that I've seen in a long, long time. It's nice to actually, they put a promise in there. They said it'd be ready 9 o'clock on time, and bam, it was there. Unlike another company, WWE, who failed on their promise yet again. So anyway, I was watching the show, As I said, I absolutely loved it, and I thought, where's the podcast right there? I've started talking more about the indies recently. Insane Championship Wrestling, probably the biggest company in the UK right now. Definitely the hottest company in the UK right now. So I thought, I've got a lot of friends who I talk to on Twitter, a lot of people who listen to this podcast who might not know about Insane Championship Wrestling, so there's a bit of an insight for them on that company. So, show kicked off. Billy Kirkwood, the commentator for ICW, kicked off the show, welcomed the fans, and calls it the biggest show in European wrestling history. He then brought out the promoter Mark Dallas. Dallas thanks the fans, who in return thank him, and he turns to his like an associate, I suppose, Sweeney, and asks him why he's there, because his wife gave birth to their daughter that afternoon, and Sweeney said, well, it's the Barrowlands, and that was all the only reason that he needed to be there was the fact that the venue's got a lot of history, a lot of legacy. So Dallas sort of lets it fly, and he then goes on to rant about the WWE, how they announced that their network would go live the same day as ICW on demand. He was sort of saying that there's obviously a bit too coincidental, but obviously I don't think. I think it is just pure coincidence that they were due to go live on the same day. He says he respects and looks up to Vince McMahon, but he's picked a fight, and Dallas says that he'll punch him in the fucking face, and he promises that he's going to punch him in the fucking face. So my mind's thinking, right, WrestleMania, Mark Dallas is firing shots at Vince McMahon. Why not make a match? Not going to happen, simply because of Mark Dallas's next announcement, which was March the 29th, the date of WrestleMania. We will be getting at the Barrowlands Ballroom, Barrowmania. What more could you want? An ICW show followed by WrestleMania. I don't think they'll run them at the same time. I think it'd be sort of like to go over the pre-show. So, if it's a live pay-per-view, I will be watching that. I shan't be watching the fucking pre-show for WrestleMania. Don't get me wrong, I will be watching WrestleMania, but I won't be watching the pre-show if this is available. But yeah, 1,600 people turned up to this show, which is like a fairly good crowd for an indie show in the UK, really. And apparently they were turning hundreds and hundreds of people away. So this, obviously, they built themselves up a reputation of this very strong wrestling company. Perhaps they can start to move to bigger venues, maybe sort of 3,000s, maybe somewhere around that kind of region. Obviously, you just got to build it up bit by bit, but it's really good to see that a young British wrestling company is succeeding and doing well. First in-ring action of the night was the Zero G Championship. You had Kid Fight versus Big Damo versus Joe Hendry versus Kenny Williams. Kid Fight came out first, and he brings out two lovely ladies with him, and he gets the crowd going with a Mexican wave. What he basically said was, right, he's been told by Mark Dallas that he's got to get the crowd going, and some guy shouts out, I'm already drunk. So he sort of victimizes him to say, right, starting with you, or your little section, we're going to do a Mexican wave all around the Barrowlands. The wave went around about 3 or 4 times before Kid Fight called a halt to it, and then we get the entrance of Joe Hendry. And this was fucking hilarious, I thought, because what he did was he had a karaoke version of Rihanna's We Found Love. But the lyrics were changed to We Fell in Love with Joe Hendry's Face. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. I thought it was brilliant. Big Damo was out next, no special entrance for him. And then the same with the champion as well, Kenny Williams. But it was a really good way to kick off the in-ring action. I've not actually seen. I think I've seen Kid Fight wrestle once. I think I've seen Kenny Williams wrestle once. But aside from that, I've not seen Big Damo. I've not seen Joe Hendry. So it's again a bit like the FWE shows that I watched recently. It's always good to see new guys. I mean, there wasn't one person on this card that I hadn't seen before that I don't want to watch again. everybody who I'd not seen, even the guys, everybody on this card, top to bottom. I want to watch them wrestle again because it was just that good of a show. This match was no exception to it, you know. Brilliant way to kick off the in-ring action, and all four guys looked strong. You know, there wasn't a single weak link in the match. The end of the match was pretty cool as well. It kind of reminded me of the old ECW. Tim Wiley, who came out with Joe Hendry, held up a chair, kind of like the Impact player, I suppose, what the Impact players used to do. Basically, Tim Wiley's holding up this chair. Hendry goes to throw Kenny Williams into this chair. Williams reverses it, and Hendry wallops headfirst into this chair. Roll up 1, 2, 3. Kenny Williams retains his title. But as I said, it was a fun little match. Good way to kick off the show. Next match was a tag team match. It was Kaylee Ray and Stevie Boy with the Wee Man in their corner versus Liam Thompson and Carmel Jacob. The Wee Man gives Kaylee and Stevie Boy their introductions, and fuck me, I think I swear a lot. This guy, Jesus Christ, he reminded me of a more foul-mouthed, alcoholic version of Joel Gertner. Brilliant. I thought he was fantastic. Well, obviously I'm a Scottish version of Joel Gertner. He seems to like the word cunt a lot as well, and that's alright by me because I love the word. So, according to him, everybody's a cunt basically. He's alright by me there, if he likes it. The match is it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. First fall, it literally came less than a minute after the match started. Basically, Liam Thompson and Carmel Jacob were making their way down to the ring, got to the end of the ramp, and wallop, they got hit with 2 suicide dives through the ropes by Kaylee Ray and Stevie Boy. Stevie threw Liam into the ring. The bell rang. He ran at Liam from the corner, and Liam caught him with a pinning combination. 1, 2, 3, bam. Literally 10 seconds after the bell rang, you've got a pinfall. So Liam and Carmel got the early advantage. Stevie had the better of the early stages of the second fall. That was until Liam back body dropped him onto the entrance ramp, and then Liam and Carmel dominated the majority of the rest of the fall. Stevie did manage to gain the upper hand. He hit a big Russian leg sweep. It was sort of like a float over Russian leg sweep. It was really well done, and made the tag. Sorry, no, he did make the tag actually. Liam Thompson eventually got him into a electric chair position. He rolled through with it, rolled him up 1, 2, 3, and we're at 1 fall each. And the third fall was more even, and ended with the best combination of the match from my perspective. Thompson hit the ropes, and Stevie Boy hit the crossbody. But when he hit the crossbody, he didn't catch him like across the chest and across the shoulders. He caught him in the face, and it looked like he broke his nose. They showed him on the outside, and his eyes were watering, his nose was gushing. It was not nice. I broke my nose, and I could feel his pain. Katie looked to hit a gory bomb, which Carmel countered into a roll-up, and Katie kicked out at 2. But then, in the next exchange, she did manage to plant the gory bomb. She went up top to hit a senton, and as she went up top, Carmel pushed the referee into the ropes, which meant Katie lost her balance. Carmel then sort of dragged her head first, and she hit an elevated DDT off the top rope for the win. So Liam Thompson and Carmel Jacob picked up the win. Sorry, I'm just getting lost on my notes here. Post-match, Carmel hit an overhanging DDT. This time it wasn't at the corner, that was off the rope itself. But then they started to issue a beat down to Stevie Boy, and then his partner Davey Boy, not Davey Boy Smith, before anybody says anything. Davey Boy returned. Apparently he's not been around for a few months. He returned to make the save, and he sent Liam and Carmel Jacob packing. Basically what they did is they ended up hitting a 3D to Carmel. Him and Davey Boy and Stevie Boy hit a 3D to Carmel, and Kaylee hit a senton from the top rope. Again, another good match. So I thought it was quite well worked. You can tell like Liam Thompson knows what he's doing in the ring. He looks like a bit of a veteran. That's not just because of the grey in his beard. And Stevie Boy looked quite good as well, quite athletic. I've seen Kaylee Ray wrestle before, so I know what she's all about. And I've heard of Carmel Jacob, so I know a bit of her reputation. So you put all that kind of talent together, it's going to mesh well. And thankfully, on this occasion, it did. Next match was this was fucking brilliant. This was the first major pop of the night. The New Age clip. We had Chris Renfrew, Darkside, and Dickie Divers versus the Sumerian Death Squad. Tommy End, Michael Dante, and Mystery Partner. But prior to the match, Sumerian Death Squad brought a body bag out to the ring. They opened it up, and fucking the crowd went ballistic. Mikey Whiplash hasn't been seen for a year in ICW. Mikey Whiplash comes out. Billy Kirkwood goes fucking nuts on commentary. The crowd go fucking nuts. Just a brilliant moment because I've seen a bit of Mikey Whiplash in ICW about a year or so ago, and he's always been quite over with the crowd, whether heel or face. But this wasn't so much a wrestling match, it was more of an all-out fucking war, basically. My favourite part was the end of the match. Tommy End, he picked up Dickie, and he looked like he was going to hit a suplex, but as he lifted him up for the suplex, he threw Dickie Divers to his partner, Michael Dante, who hit a power slam. Dickie kicked out at 2. He got back to his feet and got caught with a clothesline and a spin kick by Tommy hit him with a clothesline, Dickie hit him with a spin kick from the back, and Mikey Whiplash followed up with a dragon suplex. 1, 2, 3. Mikey Whiplash makes a winning return to ICW, and I think it was fitting that Mikey Whiplash got the pin really because of the amount of time that he's been missing from the ring, and the fact that he was just that fucking over when he got out of that body bag. I mean, I've never seen an entrance like that. I thought it was cool. You see the Undertaker come out of a coffin every now and again in the WWE, but out of a body bag, that's a bit more sadistic. That's a bit more my kind of thing. So Mikey Whiplash is back. Where it goes for him from there, I'm not sure. Where it goes for both teams from there, I'm not sure. But, it's a ride I think we're all going to enjoy. Next match, this was one of the best matches on the card. It was BT Gunn versus Wolfgang. Basically, just before the referee rang the bell to start the match, Wolfgang announced that he'd spoken to Mark Dallas, and the match is now a last man standing. And I know some people who don't like last man standing matches. I know Tim Vicious isn't a big fan, but seriously, Tim, if you get a chance to watch this fucking match, man, brilliant. It was brutal. It was absolutely fucking brutal. It was one of those matches. It was more so in favour of Wolfgang, but still fairly back and forth. Best part for me, hands down, was Wolfgang Gerda press BT Gunn above his head. He's sort of holding him up, and he turns around and he throws him into the crowd, similar to Bam Bam Bigelow and Spike Dudley back in the old ECW. Billy Kirkwood's commentary was fucking brilliant, and this is going to live in my memory until the day I die. He turned around and he said, he threw him into the crowd like shite at a pedo's window. I just thought, that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard on commentary in my life. I even had to rewind it just to double check to make sure that was what he said, because obviously that's pushing the boundaries a little bit. But no, it was fucking brilliant. He threw him into the crowd like a piece of shit, like shite at a pedo's window. Fucking amazing. Loved it. Billy Kirkwood, as I say, he's very, very innovative in his commentary. Doesn't care how much he swears, because you can get away with it in ICW. I think I'm right to say he's a comedian as well, so comedians are generally quite sharp-minded and quick-witted, so that'll only help him with his commentary. So, fair play to Billy Kirkwood. That was a fucking awesome bit of commentary right there. But despite all the carnage in the match, mainly in favour of Wolfgang. It actually ended up as a draw. Basically, Gunnar, Wolfie beat him down. He had him prone on the top rope, and just when it looked like he was going to hit him with a high impact move, Wolfie got up and he hit with a massive fucking powerbomb from the top rope. And due to the amount that both guys had been through in the match, neither man was able to make it up to his feet before the count of 10, and it's declared a draw. After the match, the rest of the New Age clique came out to help BT Gunn, and the Bucky Boys came out with Mark Dallas to help Wolfgang. Wolfie wasn't happy with the result of the outcome. He was going fucking ballistic, basically. And he issued a challenge on the rematch to settle a steel cage match on January the 25th, which I've got that written down here somewhere. January the 25th is the fourth annual Square Go show. But yeah, I mean, if those two are going to put themselves through that much shit in their last man standing match, I can't wait to watch the cage match. It's just going to be phenomenal. How they're going to play it out, I don't know. How, the possibilities because these two seem to have really good chemistry. So the possibilities of what they're going to do to each other is just endless. It really is. Fucking amazing match. As I say, if you haven't watched it, especially one for you, Mr. Tim Vicious, if you've not watched it, $5.99 a month. Go to insanewrestling.co.uk. Sign up for it. Even if it's just for this match, and the main event. Just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Tag team championship matches are up next. Not matches. We have Paul London and Brian Kendrick are the champions. I didn't actually realise this until I was chatting to Tony Walker about it last week on his podcast. Because as far as I was still aware, Grado and Colt Cabana were still the tag team champions, but Paul London and Brian Kendrick have since won them. They were defending against Jackie Polo and Mark Coffey. Jackie Polo looks like what I'd imagine an 18-year-old Raven to look like. Even facially, they look similar. Just without all the piercings and the makeup and the dreadlocks and everything. Paul London, he must have been out of his face on something. He just reminded me of a combination of Jeff Hardy and Spanky from 6 years ago. And even Spanky was pissed off London. Instead of going to the ring, Spanky went straight into the ring. Paul London decides to fucking walk around the crowd a couple of times. It was just like, what are you doing? Spanky's like, come on, get in the ring, get in the ring. And eventually he'd had enough and he said, right, I'm starting this match on my own, fuck it. I can't confirm if he was under any influence, but if he was, he's a twat. I'm sorry, but you do not go into a wrestling match under any influences at all. Jeff Hardy did it, Victory Road 2011. Luckily, TNA sorted that situation out and had Sting win in about 2 minutes. But no, you do not go into a wrestling match under any influences at all. It was probably the worst match on the card, but it wasn't a bad match. It was just that everything else was that much better. It was like a typical tag team match. But it was still well worked. Don't get me wrong. It was probably the biggest shock of the match as well. The biggest shock of the night because Polo and Coffey ended up picking up the win. And basically how it happens, Polo elevated Spanky up into Coffey, hit release German suplex, and picked up the win. That's the only real sort of point in the match was the end of it, really. Apart from Paul London being off his fucking face. But yeah, they were ICW Tag Team Champions. After the match, Coffey left Polo alone in the ring with a microphone. Jackie Polo's good on the mic, fuck it, don't get me wrong. Basically cut a promo ripping on Lionheart. Lionheart was the victim. He was on the receiving end of a bit of a dodgy Styles clash from AJ Styles back in March. Severely broke his neck. Hasn't been in the ring since. But Polo and Lionheart, they've got a bit of history anyway. tried doing a bit of digging on it before I watched the show, and also found a couple of promos of them just basically getting pissed off at each other. Polo said he'd offered Lionheart a match to take place at Fear and Loathing, but claims he didn't have the balls to accept, and with that, Lionheart came out. He says about personal things. I think it's personal between the two, and he uses it like different sort of things. He found that he gave Jackie Polo a picture of himself from when he was 2.5 years old, the day that he was adopted, because the woman who gave birth to him, is how he put it, he didn't say mother or mum. He said the woman who gave birth to him left him on the doorstep. He pulled out a newspaper article as well, but I didn't understand the story behind that, so I'm not going to go into it. And then he gave Jackie a picture of an ex-girlfriend who he was with for 4 years. She basically gave up everything in the world for him, and he ended up having an affair with a married woman. And basically what he said, the point that he was trying to make is that it doesn't matter how personal he takes things, because Lionheart is waiting for the moment they get to go one-on-one. It tells Polo to understand that you're fucked. It was brilliant because he just sort of got right up his jaw and he went, "You're fucked." Tells Polo to go home tonight, do what he usually does, and when he gets into bed, and he's staring up at the sky, clutching his new World Tag Team Championship. He wants him to realise that on this night, when Lionheart told him that he was in no position to get physical, he lied, and with that, Lionheart just unloaded on him. Right hands, left hands, fucking everything. And he sort of got a bit overzealous, started doing a few poses, and with that, Jackie came back with the right hands. He looked to hit a Styles Clash, and I actually thought he was going to hit it. I really thought he was going to hit it. He didn't. Lionheart managed to counter out of it, and he hit with a rock bottom. Or what, I don't know what he calls the move. I didn't hear what Billy Kirkwood said. But Lionheart, after basically Coffey came back down to the ring and helped Jackie Polo out of the ring. Lionheart said that the match is going to be March the 29th, Barrowmania. And very fitting, really, from the perspective of that. Lionheart's return was at Barrowland Ballroom, so his first match back should be at Barrowland Ballroom. Granted, it's another 4 months away, but it'd be worth the wait, I think. And who knows, maybe Jackie Polo and Mark Coffey will be tag team champions by then. Next match, now this is one I was really looking forward to, is Noam Dar versus Joe Coffey. Basically, they had a series best of 5 to determine the number 1 contender for the ICW Heavyweight Championship. I was meant to see Noam Dar a couple of years ago, last year, at the same show that I saw Adam Cole, Chuck Taylor, and Colt Cabana. And I think he pulled out. I know he pulled out, but I think it was because of injury. Eddie Kingston was supposed to be on the show as well. He pulled out because of injury. So I was really looking forward to seeing where Noam Dar has gone in the last year or so, because I've not managed to watch him at all in 2014. Very, very good match. Joe Coffey's quite a big guy, but he's quite athletic. But it was a very good competitive match. I think, to be fair, Dar is a very well skilled wrestler. And he's 21 years old. 21 years old. And the sky's the limit for the guy, I'm hoping for his sake he can sort of move up through to bigger companies, maybe Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, New Japan over the next couple of years. Maybe even Global Force. But I expect to see this guy working for bigger companies. And you never know, he might eventually make it to TNA or the WWE. But as I say, don't take anything away from Joe Coffey, because for a biggish kind of guy, he's very athletic and he moved around the ring really well. And the chemistry that they had was just brilliant. It was almost as though every 2 moves ahead were predetermined. It was like a snooker match where they were seeing 2 shots ahead. It was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. Coffee won the match to take Series 3-2. The end sequence, it was brilliant, I thought. Joe looked to hit a discus clothesline. Dar blocked it. And then he whipped Joe into the ropes and caught him with a German suplex. And Coffee no-sold it brilliantly. He just got straight up and he was really fired up. He caught Dar with a discus clothesline. Dar kicked out. Kyle O'Reilly started one. He sort of got up and started, stumbling around. Kyle O'Reilly started brilliant. Coffee then clocked him with another clothesline. 1, 2, 3. Joe Coffey's the number one contender for the ICW Heavyweight Championship. Just as I said, brilliant match. A really good show of respect after the match as well. It looked like Coffey was going to smack him, but he didn't. He embraced him. He shook his hand. Brilliant. Just always good to see a really good show of respect after a competitive wrestling match. Whether it's obviously it's in inverted commas fake, staged, scripted, whatever you want to call it. It was. It's always good to see that because that shows that they respected one another's performance. Wrestling's an art, and if you can respect your opponent's performance, you're on the right track. The internet sensation Grado was up next against Sha Samuels, and I thought it was a big shame. A lot of the entrances, because of the songs they were using, copyright laws, so on and so forth, you didn't hear the music, and it was just muted. Like there was no sound at all, no commentary, no crowd, no nothing. And I love Grado. How can you not love Grado? This guy shouldn't be a wrestler, should he? But he is. Got himself over. And it's always fun watching his entrance because, don't get me wrong, I fucking hate Madonna. How that shit ever became a massive, it got over so massively with a rabid ICW audience, I'll never know. But always fun to watch Grado in the ring. Fans are behind him from the opening bell to the closing bell. It's just amazing how everybody gets behind him. As I say, this guy shouldn't be a wrestler. He doesn't look like a wrestler at all. But he is the epitome. He's a cult hero, really, isn't he? But Sha Samuels, looks like a decent wrestler. This is the first time I've seen him, so I definitely want to watch more of him as well because he looked impressive. And unfortunately for Glasgow, me, for you, everybody loves Grado. He didn't get the win. Sha picked up the win. The referee was down. Grado hit the wee boot. Obviously, with the referee down, there's no there to make the count. He had him down for about 10 count, which is always the way. Grado got back to his feet, and as he did, Martin Stone, the former Danny Burch from NXT, he hit the ring and clobbered Grado with a chair. Samuels called into the cover, and the referee came too, funnily enough. 1, 2, Grado got the shoulder up. Samuels sort of like, what the fuck? And he went over to talk trash to Grado. Grado got up and slapped the taste out of his mouth and knocked him to the ground. The referee was sort of still down and not looking at the action, funnily enough. And Martin Stone came in and he unloaded with a few right hands and he hit Grado with an elevated DDT similar to what Carmel hit Katie Ray with earlier in the show. Samuels crawled over into the cover, picked up the win. But I'd expect a match at some stage. I don't know which show it would be at. Maybe at Baromania, just to sort of settle the score. But my prediction would be Samuels and Stone versus Grado and Colt Cabana. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But I'd like to see. I've not actually seen Colt and Grado team yet. I've seen the match that they had against each other, but I've not seen them team up. So something I'd like to see. Iron Duo, I think they call themselves. Main event time. ICW Heavyweight Championship match. Drew Galloway versus Jack Jester, the ICW Heavyweight Champion. Fuck me, what a match. What a fucking match, honestly. I thought Drew's match that he had with Tommy Dreamer at the FWE Refueled Night 2 show was brilliant. And it was, don't get me wrong. But this, oh my god, this was fucking amazing. This was just brilliant. Violent, competitive, athletic, barbaric. You couldn't ask for any more in a wrestling match, really, could you? You know, match was built up brilliantly too, as like a best friends but better enemies kind of tagline. And those are usually the best kind of matches, you know. You think back to the ones that Shawn Michaels had with Triple H back in 2002, Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. Just, well, the matches, I've actually covered quite a lot of the match in my notes. It probably went for 20 minutes or so, half an hour. It's great to see Jack Jester. You know, as much as Drew's still proving the WWE wrong for letting him go, it was great to see Jack Jester as well. I've not seen him wrestle in a while. I think I managed to catch before I watched this because I sort of found out about it about an hour before. So about 8 o'clock, 8:15, I found out about it. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to get onto YouTube and just sort of try and catch up with little bits. And I did manage to sort of get a full show. So I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to watch some old stuff just to get me in the mood. So I watched Jack Jester versus Prince Devitt from, must have been either earlier this year or last year. And, you know, it was a good match. So it was nice to sort of get back into watching Jack Jester again. He was heavily sort of promoted in the documentary that the BBC did for ICW earlier in the year, which is on YouTube, by the way, if anybody hasn't watched it. Brilliant show, brilliant paper, brilliant documentary. The thing is with Jack Jester, he's like a wrestling icon in Scotland. That's how it seems to me looking in from the outside. And it's easy to see why when he has matches like this were just a brilliant, brilliant wrestling match. I'd easily give it 4.5 stars, easily, if not 5. But it was Jack who kick-started it all as well on the night in the ring. He just had his introduction, and as his name sounded out from the announcer, he turned around and he walloped Drew in the head with the belt. And then basically we just got an all-out fucking brawl from there on. Jack was busted open early. He was down on the ramp face first, and Drew stomped on his head, cut him open. So you got Jack Jester pissing with blood. So, you know, they sort of found their way into the crowd, and Jack eventually got the upper hand. They found their way to some fire exits, and Jack was throwing the door, like pushing the door into Drew's face. And then he used the chain. He puts a chain around his neck when he wrestles. He took the chain from around his neck, wrapped it around his fist, started beating on Drew with the chain. Typical sort of, you know, hardcore fight, really, I suppose, in a way, but more athletic than your usual hardcore fight. The best part of the match, I would say, is Drew found his table. And this table looked like fucking shit, honestly. He bounced Jack's head off it a couple of times. So Galloway set the table. But as he was setting up, it gave Jack Jester enough time to recover. Jack sort of comes back with his right hands with his fucking chain wrapped around his hand. And set Drew up on the table. Basically, they were right in front of the stage where Billy Kirkwood was commentating. So Jack Jester goes up these steps, comes round, and he hits a Cactus Jack-like elbow onto Drew. But what happens is he doesn't catch all of it, so the table doesn't break. It sort of squeezes out from under Drew, and the impact's bomb. So he's taken fucking twice the impact. He's taken the impact from the elbow and the impact from the forearms to the ground. That was pretty cool. Another really cool part I thought it reminded me of Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, or whichever Mick Foley guys in Terry Funk, I suppose. Basically, Drew was down. They eventually made their way back to the ring. Jack had been beating the shit out of him. Galloway all the way back into the ring, and Jack went to the back. He comes out with a baseball bat wrapped in, as Billy Kirkwood called it, the Devil's Christmas tree tinsel, barbed wire, and the delay in Jester going to get the bat and coming back into the ring gave Drew enough time to recover. But Drew used it well. You know, he used it properly. He was sort of running it across Jester's forehead where he was cut, rubbing it into his face. Brilliant. I said it reminded me a lot of Terry Funk and Mick Foley. The end of the match was really good as well because it looked as if Galloway was sort of battling with his emotions a little bit. And anytime he hit a move, Jack kicked out. And that also included Jack's version of the Tombstone Piledriver. As he got up from this tombstone, Galloway was pleading with him, stay down, stay down. He looked like he was sort of, I don't know if he was crying, Galloway, but he made it convincing that he was. But Jack Jester was being Jack Jester, he was being defiant. So Drew just put him out of his misery, hit the Future Shock DDT. 1, 2, 3, and we got a new ICW heavyweight champion. Great show of respect afterwards as well, especially after the personal rivalry they'd had. Both men dedicated it to Drew's late mother. And when you hear things like that, you'd think that like Jack Jester would be doing it more out of disrespect. But no, it was a brilliant match, brilliant story. I'd say I'd give it 4.5 stars, if not 5 easily. Putting the title on Galloway makes a lot of sense. He's probably the hottest commodity outside of the WWE anyway. Or outside of WWE and TNA. Simply because of his exploits in the WWE. So anybody who can get their hands on Drew, you know, FWE's done it. He's going to be a House of Hardcore facing Austin Aries in a couple of weeks' time. ICW, sorry. Yeah, fair play because, you know, anybody who can market that kind of name, you know, Drew's a former Intercontinental Champion, former WWE Tag Team Champion. I didn't know it until this show. He's the only born Scotsman to wrestle at WrestleMania. I think that says a lot about the guy, really. Overall rating of the show, I've given it a 9 out of 10. Could have gone higher. Paul London didn't help, and I don't think I'll ever give it a 10 out of 10. But no, this was an absolutely brilliant show. And I'd say thank you to Joe Taylor on Twitter for recommending it to me. Absolutely loved it. Definitely worth the price of admission of £3.74 or whatever it was. Just an absolutely fantastic wrestling show. We've got more shows coming up over the coming weeks. We've got Fear and Loathing 2, November the 16th. Spaceballs 5, Bill Murray Strikes Back show. That's December the 21st. The 4 Final Square go January the 25th, and Barrowmania March the 29th. Not sure if any or which of them, if any of them, will be available on the ICW on-demand service, but definitely a service worth getting. $5.99 or £3.74. Definitely worth getting. That's the end of the show. Thank you for listening. I'm definitely going to sort of get this one up and, as I say, doing more indie shows as and when I can. I'll definitely be covering House of Hardcore. I've been talking to my good friend Mr. Tim Vicious about covering Ring of Honor's Final Battle. Hopefully try and get Michael Cook on with that as well, because he's a big Ring of Honor fan these days, same as myself. But we've sort of been talking about that between us. If there's any other indie shows coming up as well, I'll definitely be looking to get them. Looking at doing the January 4th show for New Japan as well. Apparently, Global Force is going to be sort of cross-promoting that with them. Not too sure on my opinion on that, because it sort of seems like they're treading on Ring of Honor's shoes and not really giving too much of a fuck. But hey, there's Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, as I say, that's the end of the show. Thank you everybody for listening. I'm not going to read out the shout-outs because I haven't got my list in front of me, but I'll put them in the list below. I'm also going to give Jo a shout-out below, simply for the thanks for her recommending this show to me. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening, and I'll be back again. Be doing NXT on the weekend.